Hey guys, still here. First off, let me wish you a Merry Christmas. Whether you're watching this on Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, whatever kind of a Christmas or other kind of celebration you're having, I hope you're having a good one. For this battle, we are going back to the 1890s. After all the 1940s battles that we had lately, this is pretty refreshing. I'm not sure who sent it in because there's no name attached to the scenario, so if this is yours, then, well, here we go. It is late 1890 and the French are still bitter about their loss to Germany in 1870. They decide to launch a full-scale invasion of Germany by sea. They gather a fleet of 5 battleships, 4 heavy cruisers and 6 destroyers to clear a path for the troop transports. They are met with a fleet of German ships consisting of 6 battleships, 3 heavy cruisers and 7 destroyers. My objective is to sink all the German battles, or not so much all the German battleships, but all the German warships, or hold them off for 2 hours while the transports make it through the blockade. Now, we have a fictional transport fleet. I'm very happy that this person did not actually make any kind of transports part of the scenario because, as you might know, transports don't listen to players. They just listen to an AI commander. And that AI commander makes some less than ideal choices every now and then. Now, there is one slight problem with this scenario. Neither France nor Germany have any hulls available in the 1890s. So I'm going to swap these for torpedo boats, because that is what both the Germans and the French do have. So I am outnumbered. I have only 1 heavy cruiser more than they do, but on both the battleship part and the torpedo boat part, I'm 1 short. I get to design the battleship. Okay. The thing is, with the battleship, there is not really that much to design when it comes to 1890. What I will try and do is put a lot of casemate guns on these boats, because they will be useful against the torpedo boats. Against the heavy cruisers, nah, probably not that much. If I want to get a decent amount of casemates... Actually, what sort of secondary guns can I put here? Oh! See, I never actually tried the French hulls this early on. But as it turns out, you can just put 8-inch secondaries on there. You don't even need to rely on casemates. The casemates can only be 3-inch. Oh, they're really close to the waterline. Don't you get soaked when you're trying to fire those? That looks pretty uncomfortable. What do you mean you can't fire? Oh, that casemate's in the way. Got it. Better? Yeah, they seem happier now. Even though they sit a good distance above the turret, above the casemate, apparently the turret really doesn't like it. It's, I don't know. It's determined not to share any kind of space. Now, since these are 1890 ships, I'm not gonna go with any kind of speed because I only have a steam engine. That's as good as it's going to get. Compound armor. We're going to be using coal because the other 2 fuel capabilities are not there. And natural boilers is probably the only thing I have to go with. Not that I'll need a lot of boilers in order to achieve 18 knots. Main tower. The front tower 1. And the secondary tower over there. And then a couple of main guns. Centerline guns. That's an interesting turret shape. Okay. The whole ship is really well rounded. Interesting design. Probably the history buffs are going, yeah, duh, this is what they looked like back in the day. Yeah, but my area of focus is much more World War II and post-World War II than anything in 1890s. So way, way pre-World War II. I have a bit of a weight offset issue here. 8.7% is not something that I can easily fix. Because it's not like I can put that turret somewhere else. Nor can I drag this other one further forward. I could go with 1 single gun, but that means that I don't share the ammunition. If I go with 1, what am I using, 10? 110 single. Let's see, that fixes the aft weight offset. And that gives me about 1.5 tons to further armor up the ship. With the Citadel, enhanced reloads. Really? We're going to go from 40 seconds to 36. Okay, I'll take it. Standard bulkheads. Black powder. How much can this pen? Maybe more importantly, at what distance can I actually become dangerous? And I think that distance is about 2,500 meters. Because outside of that, I'm looking at 1.5% chance to hit. And that is going to be affected by all sorts of debuffs. I don't have a rangefinder to counter out those debuffs, so this is as good as it's going to get. And that means that these things will about... Well, they're going to get dangerous at about 2,500 meters. Really, really, really close. Okay. And they pen 13.2 inches or similar. Well, that's going to be tricky. I might be able to put on a fair amount of belt armor here. Plus 38%. In that case, if I'm not mistaken, and I route this down to 10, plus 38% is 13.8. That means that even at 2,500 meters, arguably, if I get hit by a 10-inch gun, it's not going to do much. If I get hit by a 12, it's an entirely different story, because that is going to it's going to punch through 17.3 inches. That's too much to stop. Now, I am very, very concerned about flash fires, but there's nothing I can do to stop them. Black powder explosives fortunately don't give me any kind of debuff, but I can only have Barbette 1. And, well, the whole ship is pretty terribly protected. And there's not that much that I can do about it. So I guess this is it. The only thing I can still change a bit on is the conning tower. Yeah, 11.9 inch. And there are no further casemate slots, right? Yeah, just those. Oh, and a few here. Those things are 4 tons. And some there. Can those be 3s? No. No, you need to use 2s for those. The firing arcs on all of these casemates are pretty dreadful, so I'll have to be mindful of that. Right. Those secondaries, 9.9 kilometer range, but accuracy? Not really. Maybe at 2,500 meters to less, I become accurate. Why do I have a starboard weight offset all of a sudden? Oh, it's because these things cannot peacefully coexist. You can only have one or the other, but you cannot have both. Right, got it. In that case, I'll take these guns off and just get the aft weight offset reduced. Because I really don't need any kind of debuffs anymore. Let's just put the armor back on. Maybe a bit more on the secondaries. Oh, not that much more then. There. The Saint-Louis, 18 knots battleship. Really slow. Let's see if she can make it to the battle. Right. They seem to have a fairly standard battleship for the time. I really wonder what my heavy cruiser is going to look like. Jaurès Guibéry, Saint-Louis, and Gauloise. And Languedoc. A couple of torpedo boats. Escopette. You guys are all called Escopette, aren't you? Mais non. Mais oui. All of them are called Escopette. Okay. Heavy cruiser Algérie. Et Ernest Renan. Et Léon Gambetta. Et Tempête. Right. Okay, these guys, how survivable are you? Not terrible. Standard, 17 knots. They're even slower than the battleships. What is your armament? Couple of 8s. Couple of 5s. Lots of 3s. And some 2s. Not bad. Not bad. The Algerie, I really want you to join the heavy cruiser group. And the heavy cruiser group is Division 3. No, not like that. I'm not sure why you all decided that that was a great plan, but no. Div 6. That's the torpedo boats. But also some heavy cruisers. Out, out. Good lord. Detach. Thank you. You join Div 6. There, that's the heavy cruisers combined. We're going to slow these things down to 12 knots. And the battleship to 12 knots. Then we have the torpedo boats. The escopettes. 200 tons. Minimum bulkheads. And 1 torpedo tube. 15-inch. Still, the torpedo blister hasn't been invented, so it's not necessarily bad. I want these things to fire... No, not to fire. To sail in line abreast. I want to ensure that they will charge in together. These can actually achieve a pretty reliable or pretty high speed at 23 knots. Okay. The enemy's been spotted to the north. So that's where we'll go at our measly 12 knots. Don't expect to get there soon, because this is going to be a bit longer of an expedition. Now, this battleship is brazenly scouting / screening for the other battleships, which I think is not quite going to happen. So let's not even bother, and let's move towards the enemy. But preferably in one big line. Considering where my guns are, for the battleships and the heavy cruisers, I will stick to the line ahead formation. Because the other one, it's going to negate the advantage that I have with all of my casemate guns. And I simply don't trust the AI's formation power enough to first move in line abreast formation, so side by side, then find the enemy, then turn, and switch into line formation. I don't think that that's quite going to work. And I'm not willing to try. Normal formation on the TBs. Normal formation on the TBs. Hold on. If you could just turn this way, please. The battleships are all neatly lined up. Very good. I think that we're going to find the enemy at a few thousand-meter range. We probably won't see them. The starting range for the scenario is 20,000 meters, so it's going to take a bit of time. But for all I know, we're already on top of them. That's the risk. That's the big problem. For all we know, they are already right here. Okay, the battleships are doing nicely. The div is slowing to 12 knots so that the Suffren can catch up. Okay. What are you dum-dums doing? I need you to slow all the way down. No, not you. And not you. The T2, you... Oh, hello! 1,800 meters out, and boom, suddenly we find the enemy. What does the enemy have? Are these their battleships? Yes. They had that very, very sharp drop-off. That's definitely a battleship. Now, since these things are not survivable, and they're all have to go... Well, they're gonna have to charge in together, or they have no chance. And the same can be said for the battleships. One of their torpedo boats is instantly flooding. Minimum bulkheads on theirs too. 25 knots? You are a fast bugger. I don't even know what the engine efficiency on this thing is going to be, but it can't be good. Torpedo range, 900 meters. I don't envy the guys on these ships, because you're forced with charging directly into the enemy. And all that time, you have almost nothing protecting you. I don't envy these guys at all. Now, our weird little setup with the three barrels. I'll try not to complain again about not having enough firepower. I mean, I've had scenarios that told me to put just 6 barrels on a ship. Main armor, or main ammo. And I found that to be a little light. But these guys only have 3. So this is far, far worse. The battleships have been identified. This is the Kaiserin. Minimum bulkheads. Not terribly quick. 15 knots. That's the minimum they can go. Now I need the heavy cruisers to finish off with the sorry, not the destroyers, the torpedo boats here. And then the Escopette and the T5 go that way. These guys are in a pretty decent position to just completely intercept the group. There goes the S6. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to trade that one for my own torpedo boat. Because this one's not making it out alive. Yeah, that thing's gone. Surprisingly, its buoyancy is... wow. Speed, 0.2 knots. But it's gotten somewhat of a reprieve since nobody is actually landing shells. The buoyancy has stopped. The flooding has stopped, that is. And I'm actually gaining... I'm gaining buoyancy again. Francois with a bucket somewhere on the ship, just getting the water off of the Escopette T2 as quickly as he can. And even the entire ship was on fire, but we're fine. We're fine. Okay. In the meanwhile, as the Jaurès Guibéry takes the fire from the Kaiserin, which fires 12-inch shells, so exactly what I was not hoping to see, the Kaiserin's getting distracted. That's the key. While the Kaiserin's getting distracted, the other torpedo boats are preparing for an attack. So we're gonna turn to starboard. Tight formation. Heavy cruisers can increase to a slightly higher speed. Is the S7 stationary? No, she still has some movement going. A 2.8% chance to hit a battleship? That's pretty good. Secondaries on the S7, please. That's pretty good. Rate of fire, however, is not that good. Because those dual barrels on the bow, they take almost a minute to reload. And then they still don't have a really good chance to pen. So I'm hoping that these guys can keep distracting the enemy battleship until the torpedo boats arrive. How are you still not dead? This is a really, really badass torpedo boat. The battleship might not yet be aware of the impending doom at the hands of the torpedo boats. That's what I'm hoping. Unfortunately, my torpedo range is probably, 900 meters. So it's not like I'm going to suddenly drop a couple of torps from stealth. I cannot do that. I'm going to have to charge in. The rest of those battleships are coming in, and they're getting heavy cruiser support. That's possibly problematic. Why are you here? Oh, this formation system. I want you to blend in with the heavy cruisers. No, not attach. but follow. Just follow the Algerie. So that when there is an opportunity to move in with the heavy cruisers, all of a sudden, from the skirts of the heavy cruisers, a ship takes shape. And it's a torpedo boat. And it charges out ahead of the rest of the heavy cruisers. And when it does, it drops a torpedo. That might work. The heavy cruiser's been identified yet? No, we don't have a positive ID yet. How many torpedoes do you guys carry? 3. Well, it's 2 more than I need. This one's also pretty tough. The S7. Somehow, it's been exchanging fire with the Escapette T2, which, once again, is burning all over the place. Francois still with Le Bucket trying to get rid of the water. Oh, no. Okay. Well, they fought heroic against the incoming water. And there goes the S7. Well done. Range, torpedo boats, 2,800 meters. Normally at 2.8k in 1940, I'd be getting pretty nervous because I would be definitely inside of torpedo range. And more importantly, I would be getting my ass shot off by all the secondaries on the battleship. And probably by the heavy cruisers too, because they would not be terribly happy to see me. The Escapette. You know what, just charge right in. Maybe we can use the distraction that's being caused by the battleships and the heavy cruisers to get a bit of a leg up on these guys. Are you getting shot at yet? No. There are some guns that are getting interested in the torpedo boats, but the 4s, 3 and the 2s are not. Oh, there we go. The 3s are currently active against the torpedo boat, but you only have 1. The 2s are not capable because I'm punching in directly from the bow, which could be a problem. Because I'm also targeting a very, very slim profile on that battleship. That's the trade-off. So it's going to have to be a drive-by torpedo run. Drive-by, drop the torp, and most likely sink. Because these guys don't do very well when getting shot at. Torpedo away from the from the T3. Now you need to turn away. Torpedo will impact. Kaiserin cannot do anything about that. Severe damage. And they don't have a lot of bulkheads. Kaiserin flooding very quickly. She's going to be in trouble. Now, as opposed to what I'm doing normally, I'm not trying to charge in. I'm trying to use these guys more as a standard battle line. And I'm hoping to get rid of the Hessen, while the torpedo boats continue their attack. A flash? No. No, it's not a flash fire, it just flat out died. While the T1 and the T4 still make a move for the next battleship. But I'm gonna have to override the rudder control because they're not quite doing what I'm hoping that they're doing. I might need to send another torpedo into this battleship because she's still surviving. Surprisingly so. I thought I had her. The Hessen getting penetrated right through the bow, starting to flood. This is not good for the Escapette T1. I'm still approaching from a more or less dead zone on the Kaiserin. But the problem is, it's the more or less dead zone. Not actually a dead zone, the ship is still shooting back. Hessen still flooding. How are the heavies? Still keeping the torpedo boats at bay, sort of. Escapette, center torpedo. And fucked up her torpedo run. Come on. If you want something done right, you need to do it yourself. If you trust the AI with it, you can get some disappointing results. Oh, what are you doing? Kaiser Wilhelm der Große. Sorry, not Größe. Sorry, Germany. I know how particular some of you guys can be about Größe und Große. Uh-oh. There goes the T4. All secondaries on all ships from Div 1. Target the S3. Because I don't want that thing to get any closer. You. I need you to make a torpedo run. Which is really dangerous. Especially since you're approaching from a really, really poor angle. She is on fire. And these guys have good accuracy now. Poor turn. We're getting hit by 3s and 2s. Turn. Torpedo is away. Turning circle on these is 233. They're very slow battleships. There she goes. The escopette is down. Sorry, yeah, the escopettes down, but maybe she can still deliver her deadly payload. T4 sinks. That's that one. I want you to target this guy. Saint Louis as well. I need another few flooding hits. Maybe one will do on the Kaiserin. 7% buoyancy. 5, 3, 2, dead. Kaiser Wilhelm de Große sinks. Kaiserin sinks. Hessen. Hessen needs a bit more persuasion, it seems. And my heavy cruisers are still keeping the torpedo boats busy. Oh, unless they hit back. What hit you? 12-inch shell. Yeah. 12-inch shell. Alright, time for the Escopette T5 to break out of the formation. I want the heavy cruisers to push in. Because at range, they're not going to do anything useful against these guys anyway. And it seems like the Ernest Renan is currently the main target. So let's use that confusion. Move. Hessen. Supposedly still flooding, but I'm not seeing it. Ooh, very nice. That's another torpedo boat gone. Well done, guys. Next target, torpedo boat S1. Div 3. Target S1. Escopette is not yet being focused by the De Grosse. I'm putting the Leon Gambette at some serious risk. There she goes. Alright, now we need to close the distance some more. Increase to slightly better speed. Are you guys taking an interest yet? No, you're not. Very good. Very good. Keep it up. I'm going to try and aggro the battleship using one of the heavy cruisers. So that the Escopette can carry out her deadly mission. Make sure you approach that battleship from the bow, because she is going to take every shot at you when she knows what you're up to. That could have easily killed that battle, or that heavy cruiser. What's the speed on this thing? Probably pretty slow. I mean, they're not quick to begin with, but oh crap. Yeah, they know what you're up to. 11% accuracy, 12, 13. Since we're turning already, turn some more. Torpedoes green. Because this thing is not going to make it out alive. Not at all. Leon Gambette is also... Sorry, Gambetta is also taking a beating. She might not make it. And unfortunately, the last torpedo boat that I had surviving did not see chance to launch the torpedo. Okay, another torpedo boat dies. I think that's the last of their torpedo boats. Let's have the heavy cruisers disengage. And allow the battleships some time to push back in. I still have a pretty healthy chance to penetrate that battleship by using the heavy cruiser's 8-inch guns. Not bad. Koenig got her fire control damage, but she's still very accurate. That's not good. There goes one of the heavy cruisers. Tempête et Algérie. Time to fall back. They're not so much fleeing the battlefield as waiting for a better time to strike. Because this isn't it. Not for the heavy cruisers. They're not going to be able to survive. Which would put quite a lot of pressure on my surviving battleships. There goes the Tempête. I don't believe that the Algérie is going to run away very quickly. Not at a mere 14 knots. Insofar she can even still achieve that. Lots of shells coming out of the battleship line. None of them very effective though. Nothing is hitting the König. I'm not actively shooting the Kaiser to make sure that I don't just, well, spend a lot of time shooting an angled battleship with a very high chance to ricochet my shells. Some of the ships still have a decent firing angle versus the König. I'm looking at the Souffrin. So I'm hoping that they can still do some damage. But I might have to switch the entire formation over to high explosive. Just to see if I can do some more damage with that. I am, however, at risk of being penned myself. They have minimum bulkheads, I have standard, but I'm still not too eager to try out how much those things can take. Nope. Back to armor piercing, because now the ship is pretty open to attack. Ricochet chance is dropping. They still have two battleships slightly farther back and a bunch of heavy cruisers. There we go. Lead battleship is getting flooded. Focus fire on König. I need floodings. Some more floodings, actually. Destroy the secondary gun. Lovely, but that's not a flooding. Ooh. The ship is starting to fill up pretty quick. Detach. I'm going to try and give it some time to recuperate. Because she is taking on a lot of water. Yeah, we're going to have to turn port. König is taking only structural damage. Not what I'm hoping. I need floodings. I'm going to take the Gauloise over to a separate battle line. Starboard turn. And the Languedoc is going to go with her. Oh shit, now they're all split. No, not all of them. Saint-Louis and Souffrin. Shit. Detach, Souffrin, join... no, you, Languedoc, join the Gauloise. Languedoc, join Gauloise. You guys work over that heavily damaged battleship. Saint-Louis, do everything you can. Main target, König. König starting to flood. Gauloise is now charging in. And this ship seems to be just dead in the water. She's doing 2.9 knots, even though she has no damaged engine, so I'm not sure why. Secondaries on the Fürst Bismarck. Souffrin. Target the Kaiser. I'm very much hoping that the Saint-Louis can take care of the König on her own. And then our secondaries can target the Fürst Bismarck. Because our secondaries are not going to be doing any kind of serious damage against those battleships. Flooding on König again. But probably once again in the stern. No, it's a midships flooding. Very good. That's what I was hoping for. 2%, 0. Back. Come back. Target the first Bismarck, because the other one's too angled. Gauloise. Continue your turn to starboard. Prepare to finish off the Kaiser Wilhelm the Grosse. She has to go. We also have another heavy cruiser off our stern. There goes a heavy cruiser. Damage done, 6.1. Damage taken, 5.7. It's probably because they got a couple of really nice hits in on the heavy cruisers. The Kaiser has a 100% chance to hit. That's very risky. And those are 12-inch guns. They will hurt. A lot. Gauloise takes several fires, 2 floodings, 2 damaged engines. But that was the last shot that the de Grosse fired. Languedoc, are you still in a division? Yeah, with Gauloise. Kaiser. Flooding. Souffran, continue on. What is wrong with Saint Louis? Nothing. I suppose my engine efficiency is just terrible because it can't accelerate anymore. Continue punching some more holes in the Fritjof. While the Kaiser is currently moving away from us. Oh, the Dreadnought survived. Shows you how I'm aware of my formations. It's just these 2 battleships and one heavy cruiser. The Admiral Graf Spee. Oh, and there, the Victoria Louise. Fine, that's your target now. Fritjof sinks, heavy flooding. That's going to be really bad news for the last battleship. Because she is now getting a lot of attention. Although it does angle. It ricochets. Look at these things. Taking a ton of damage. But still dishing it out. Casemates are firing. Look at how close the casemates are to the water. Ooh, that looked painful. You alright? That did not look pleasant. Kaiser also not looking too pleasant. Surprise, surprise, her stern gun is still operational, but only just. And the whole ship seems to be dead in the water. 2 damaged engines and a hull completely flooded. That's good. Makes them far easier to get rid of. Gauloise, Languedoc, finish off Kaiser if you can. Because I'm not sure about that yet. The angle's not good. The angle for the Saint Louis is slightly better. And how's the lead battleship that I pulled off the line because it was taking too much damage doing? Decent. Unfortunately, my bow turret is dead. Leaving me with only the stern turret. And my 8-inch guns. Are they still operational? Yes. So that effectively gives the heavy cruiser almost as much firepower as the battleship. Oh, close shot. No joy. Let's keep you turning for a while. Not that much though, otherwise that stern turret's not going to be effective. Kaiser not dead yet. Languedoc is working over the Graf Spee together with the Gauloise. She is not happy. Don't ram me though. That'd be pretty bad. All the guns are trained on the heavy cruiser here, and she is flooding badly. She just took a mouthful of 10-inch shells, not even 12. 10-inch shells. But these things too are only carrying minimum bulkheads. That's bad news for the Graf Spee, because she is not likely to be able to stop that flooding. Not a good salvo, but still, no joy. Great screenshots, though. Come on. Yes. Graf Spee is dead before she can cause any kind of ramming risk. And that just leaves one battleship and one heavy cruiser. Gauloise. So Div 4, I want you to engage the Victoria Louise. Gauloise and Languedoc. And that means that it's going to be up to the Saint-Louis to take care of the Kaiser. But the Kaiser is dead slow, so I can just move in, get my accuracy up, blow a couple of holes below the waterline, and flood her out. Souffrin. Firing, what? With the 8-inch guns you're firing at the battleship? Don't you think your 8-inch guns are slightly more effective if used against the heavy cruiser? Not quite a hit. Victoria Louise is pinned in. Battleships on every side. For once, I'm actually quite satisfied with the way that I conducted my formations. I have not really paid this much attention to formations and positioning and battle lines lately. I should be doing that a lot more. Victoria Louise. Kaiser is probably going to try and pen you. What's she targeting? Yeah, definitely you. Definitely you. Saint-Louis, it's time to call it a day. Ooh, that bounced off. Oh, come on. No. I need something better than that. Reload on those is 83 versus my 55 and 36. Come on. 23% chance to hit versus your 12. Ow. Their buoyancy is coming back up. That's not what I want to see. Kaiser has to go. No joy. In the meanwhile, the Victoria Louise, surrounded at this point, since the Jouet-Guibéry is sort of closing the gap, she's not taking a lot of damage. Just casually sailing through. Kaiser, 73% buoyancy. Come on now. Oh. And the Kaiser is definitely showing that she's not dead. That's a good hit that she got there. Or that she dished out against the St. Louis. Oh, that's bad news for the heavy cruiser. Yeah. Ammo detonation on the heavy cruiser. With a 3-inch gun, no less. That's interesting. Now I can help my damaged battleship here. Oh, that's not good. No, 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 no. Flooding on the Kaiser. That's something that could finish her off. Because that's her Achilles heel, flooding. In the meanwhile, the Saint Louis will continue to take damage. Buoyancy is down back to 16%. And my positioning is slightly better now. Because I'm only taking fire from one 12-inch turret as opposed to two. Speed? None. With one damaged engine, probably of one engine, I'm just stuck here. Speed 1.5 knots. We've lost all engine power. Kaiser's not doing too hot herself. Well, she's pretty hot with all the fires, but she's not moving. Souffrin is coming in for the coup de grâce. Finish her off. So that the fictional invasion fleet can continue. Completely lost sight of the Algerie. But I'm glad that another heavy cruiser survived. 17% buoyancy. Another flooding. 11%, 9%, 7, 5, 3.4, gone. Enemy what? No. No, I'm not chasing down a torpedo boat with battleships. Not with 18 knots. I'm not doing it. That's the German who can survive the battle to tell the tale of the French fleet and their heroics. I am not chasing down that one ship. Now, I think it's pretty impressive, considering that my 5 battleships all survived. Some of them might need a bit of tending to, but they're all alive. And that's more than the German battleships can say. So, victoire to the French and the successful invasion, hopefully, of Germany. Anyway, that'll be it for today. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you're having a good Christmas, and I shall see you guys soon for another video.